Welcome to windswept Coimbatore. We are ready for round 2 of the TYRE-FMSCI National Racing Championship. Live action coming your way. Stay with us.
TYRE Royal Enfield Continental GT Cup. 20 bikes on the track. Anish Damodar Shetty starting at P1, Alvin Xavier at P2, Rajkumar at P3. Remember, Anish won both the races in this category, although it is a very good start for Mika Viduraj, bike number 4. Remember, Mika started at P6 and is moved up to the top of the lot at the moment. Closely chased down by Alvin Xavier and Anish Shetty. There's always going to be these two involved in the mix right at the top. But a very good start for Mika Viduraj. Comes from Hyderabad, starting from P6 to move up and lead the race as come through the first half of the first lap. 20 riders, 2 of them will be media representatives, Asman and Atish Mishra. The first round was Mohan and Muti, who are media representatives. Now coming to the end of the first lap on the straight, but very well done by Mika Viduraj. Continues to lead the race. Constant pressure on him by Anish Shetty, the lad from Hubli, who won both the races in this category in the opening round. Joining me in the commentary box is Raman Binod.
Karthike, it's really good to see what Mika has done in the first lap itself. Just pushed back Anish Damodar Shetty, who was on pole position at the start of the race. Good start by Mika. When you look at the times that he's clocked up, time of 1 minute 21.386 in that opening lap. Those timings are going to keep getting better and better. Remember, it's a 10-lap race, but you'll see the best time of the race probably coming around the 5th or the 6th lap when the tires are warmed up. Of course, the track temperatures are going to be ideal. Remember, it's windswept. It's a little windy today, a little cooler in Coimbatore. And probably it might just take a little time before the track temperature reaches the ideal mark.
On that corner, it was very good move by Alvin Xavier to try and come up to second. But as we see on the straight, it is Anish Shetty who's wrestled the lead back away from Mika Viduraj. And it's going to be a three-way battle now. Seems Anish is now settling with the top position. In fact, Mika's dropped down to third with Alvin Xavier now taking the second spot.
That's something that happens so many times, doesn't it? You try and close the door on one biker and the other one sneaks past. I think Mika was a little worried about what Alvin Xavier was coming up with. Tried to cover that outside line and gave way to Anish Shetty, who made the move, and he's now the race leader on bike number 17. Anish Shetty, who won both the races of round 1, is proving to be the favourite in this category.
Well, Sudhir Sudhakar has just clocked in the fastest lap. He's in 5th at the moment, bike of 1 minute 18.569 seconds. Anfal Akhtar is also another rider we'd like to keep an eye out on. He's also got a podium in the opening round.
Sudhir Sudhakar, you mentioned his name, is on bike number 13. He's one of the contenders in the overall championship as well in terms of points. If you look at how the point standings are, so he's going to be looking at a good finish in this race on bike number 13, Sudhir Sudhakar. But I think the battle reigning at the moment seems to be with Anish Shetty, who's notched up the best lap time of 1 minute 17.845. You see these lap timings go down. I think, as I said before, around the 5th or 6th lap, then you might find the best lap timings of this race.
We're talking about Anfal. He's moved up to third as well by as they came to the end of that lap. Anfal Akhtar, the lad from Thrissur. And if you talk about the best timings, Raman, it was 1 minute 17.203. That was the fastest lap in qualifying in practice by Anish Shetty. and he's not very far away, just half a second behind that at the moment. And as you said rightly, around lap number 4 or 5 is when we can expect the fastest lap of the race. At the moment it is Anish who's clocked the fastest, Alvin in second, Anful coming in third, and Meka Viduraj would be a tad bit disappointed, starting from P6, getting the race lead and now slipping down to fourth.
The pressure getting to him really, because you had two challengers who were vying to overtake him. In the end, both of them did. Anish and Alvin Xavier both went past him. Now it's about who can hold the nerve. These two pulling away from the rest of the pack. In fact, Anish just seems to be having the edge of about a couple of seconds faster than Alvin Xavier.
I think that's been something that we saw in the first round as well. These two, Anish and Alvin, have always peeled away from the rest every time come to the end of another lap, and you can see that the gap between the top two and the rest is steadily increasing, and that is kind of a body for the others.
And the lap timings are getting better as well. That previous lap, the fourth lap, the fastest thus far for Anish Shetty, time down to 1 minute 17.349. These two really have had a few exchanges in round one as well. Remember, another biker that you've got to keep an eye out on was Jayant Pratipati. Remember, Jayant finished third in one of the races, and then unfortunately while he was taking part in the second race of round one, I think his bike peeled off. In the end finished 17th and out of points.
Meka's moved up now to third, but it is Anish Shetty who's lap after lap notching up the fastest. Now that's the move from Alvin Xavier, but Anish does so very well to stick to his lines, doesn't let Alvin Xavier pass him by as they come to the end of lap number 4. It is Anish who is leading at the moment, very closely followed by Alvin Xavier. Now it is Meka who's moved up to third. He's closely followed by Sudhir Sudhakar in fourth. And Anfal, who was at a point in time in third, he's dropped down to fifth. And we've got Dheeraj Biker coming in sixth.
Remember, this is the JK Tyre presents the Royal Enfield Continental GT Cup. Overall, they've got to do 10 laps of this racetrack here at the Kari Motorspeedway. 2.3 kilometers the length of the track. So each lap that these bikers are carding is 2.3 kilometers. So overall, 23 kilometers, the total distance that they'll end up covering in the race.
As we speak, it's Alvin Xavier who's moved up ahead of Anish Damodar. Bike number 10, as you just saw on your screen, he's moved up ahead with Anish dropping down to second. We saw that in the first round of the season as well. Both of them exchanging leads throughout the race, but on both occasions, in the end, it was Ashwin. In fact, it was Anish who came up trumps. It's going to be very interesting coming to the end of lap number 5 now. Halfway through the race, there is Alvin Xavier who's leading, closely followed by Anish Damodar Shetty. This will certainly spice up the race for the championship as far as the bikers are concerned. And there is that huge gap of close to about 5 seconds between the front two and the rest of the lot that's following them.
I dare say that this could make for an exciting finish. I agree with you, Kartike. The other part that you've got to keep an eye out on, in case you're watching this Royal Enfield Continental GT Cup race action for the very first time, these bikes are actually close to 200 kilograms each. So 200 odd kgs, or about 180 odd kgs, is what the weight of one bike is. So it's really a challenge for these bikers. It's a test of their technical skill, their physical fitness, their endurance to be able to man this machine over 10 laps.
Only minor adjustments made, minor modifications made. We spoke about them in the first round.
Yes, the exhaust has been modified because just to reduce a bit of weight, because otherwise the stock bike weighs over 200 kgs. So with the slight modifications in the exhaust pipe, the angle at which the exhaust is placed, certain weight reductions done there, about 15 or 20 kgs knocked off the weight of an average stock bike that you get, the GT bike. So pretty much what you get off the shelf, except for minor modifications, and of course the soft compound radial, JK Tyre radials will be using.
So coming to the end of lap number 6, starting lap number 7, it is Alvin Xavier and Anish who are at the top. There's the battle going on for first and second. That's the story. That's how the story has been in round one as well. This time, Alwyn will be hoping to get the better of Ashwin. Was Ashwin who won both the races last time round. It'll be a very good start for Alwyn Xavier if he can hold on to that lead. Remember, 10 laps of this race. We're into lap number 8. The previous round, very last lap is where Alwyn made a mistake and Anish capitalized and went on to win the race. Experience will have made Alwyn much better, and he'd be hoping not to repeat that this time round. But very, very close battle between the two right at the top. The gap between the two is 0.128 seconds. Touch and go. Then you see the bunch of 5 riders following them about 5-6 seconds later as they come through the final corner of lap number 7.
The interesting part here would be with 8 laps gone. This is going to be very, very interesting. See how it goes. Remember, the best lap times that you got was for Anish Shetty. That came in the 4th lap of the race. 1 minute 17.349 seconds is what he clocked. 8 laps gone, just 2 more to go. This is going to be really exciting stuff. Can Alwyn Xavier hold on to his race lead?
He's under immense pressure from Anish Shetty, and I think Anish will like to keep it that way till the very end, unless he obviously takes the lead back from him and takes the checkered flag away.
But this is the business end of the race, remember. This is where it's going to come down to a nail-biting finish between Alwyn Xavier and Anish Shetty. Can Alwyn pip Anish Shetty to the podium here? Remember, to the raised flag, to the checkered flag. There's an incident that we've had meanwhile.
That's Jayant Pradipati, who's slid off, and happened with him again. Happened with him last time round as well. In fact, that's bike number 1. That's Lokesh V on your screen, just going hard on that turn and sliding off. In the meantime, coming to the end of yet another lap, it is Alwyn Xavier who continues to lead. There's not much to pick between Alwyn and Anish Shetty.
Yes, there isn't. But remember, if this bike goes down, it's not the easiest to get the bike up and running again on the racetrack.
And as we were speaking, it is Anish who's done it again in the final couple of laps. He has now overtaken Alwyn Xavier. There you see bike number 17 now is your race leader. Alwyn Xavier dropping down to second. He'd be disappointed.
Is it going to be an opportunity, a window of opportunity for Alwyn Xavier? Because I think Anish Shetty is going to run into one of the back markers just before he does reach the checkered flag on the final lap. So this will be interesting to see. Is there going to be enough gap between that back marker and Anish Shetty? Can he make it to the checkered flag? Or there seems to be some debris that came off the track, and you could see Anish just turning back and seeing.
That could have been dangerous. Luckily, no problem at all there, as now Anish zooms away, coming through towards the final few corners and trying to take the checkered flag for the 3rd time. 3 out of 3 it will be for Anish Shetty. If he hangs on, he is under pressure from Alwyn Xavier. Alwyn will certainly go right till the very end through that final corner onto the straight now. Will Anish be able to do it? He can hold on, certainly. Yes, he can. It is Anish Shetty who takes the checkered flag for the 3rd time, and Alwyn will have to settle for 2nd.
Well, you said 3rd time, and I will say not lucky, hard work. That's what Anish Shetty put in, and that's the reason why he's notched up another race win.
Terrific from Anish Shetty. Wins the opening race of this category in round number 2. It is Alwyn Xavier who comes in 2nd, and Anfal Akhtar, bike number 5, takes the 3rd spot on the podium. Good to see the camaraderie between all these guys, just having a bit of laugh, enjoying themselves as the race came to the end.
Well, exciting stuff indeed. You needed a bit of drama, you needed a bit of excitement, and you got that in the final lap. And you can see the two of them, Anish Shetty and Alwyn Xavier, having a bit of a jostle, a friendly banter post the race on that lap all the way through where they'd come back towards the pit lane.
It was always good to see that, Raman, isn't it? On the track during those 10 laps, they are the fiercest of rivals. But as soon as the checkered flag is waved, they're done with the race. It's back to, as you said, banter and high fives and celebrations. So that's very good to see. But in the end, it is Anish who's taken the checkered flag, make it 30 points for him out of possible 30. While Alvin, that's his third second place finish. So he's on 24, 6-point gap between Anish and Alvin at the moment as they go through that lap and into the pits. They will going through the mandatory weighbridge. That's your race winner on the screen. So all in all, a very clean and a good race to start off proceedings in round 2. Now that the race is done, we have that car going around the racetrack, just inspecting and seeing if there is any debris, as Raman mentioned in the last round when Anish turned around and saw there were a couple of pieces were lying around. That'll certainly be cleaned up very, very quickly. Don't worry about that. The weighbridge, it's a mandatory practice after every race, whether it be the cars or the bikes, they have to go through that. There is a certain fixed weight that has to be there, otherwise they could be in for penalties or disqualification. That's bike number 5, that's off Anfal Akhdar, the lad from Thrissur. So another podium for Anfal. It was an interesting race. Very quickly, we'll go through the highlights. These are the highlights. It was a very, very good start for Mika. Started from P6 and very quickly moved up to take the race lead. However, that did not last very, very long as the duo of Anish and Alvin very quickly moved and peeled away from the rest of the group. It was a very, very good battle, intense battle right at the top between Anish and Alvin, as we've seen throughout the season so far in the 3 races we've had. At this point, it was bike number 17, that's Anish, who was leading. Going into lap number 4, he clocked up the fastest lap as well. This is where he was trying to build that gap between himself and Alvin Xavier. Mika Viduraj would have been very disappointed. Started from P6, had a very good start, moved up to the top of the race and then dropped down. And this is where Alvin Xavier made his move and took the lead away from Anish. That's bike number 10 of Alvin Xavier, another lad from Thrissur. That was Lokesh. We sliding, braking in a bit too hard and losing the balance. And in the meantime, it was Anish who then wrestled the lead back again from Alvin Xavier. That's where you see those couple of pieces of debris on the track. It's a bit of concern. Luckily, no damage done. Both avoided any serious damage as they come through the last corner of the final lap. And it was Anish who held on to that lead and took the checker flag. Very, very good race there. And we saw doing a seesaw as far as the race lead was concerned between Anish. All went back to Anish. Before that, it was a very good start by Mika Viduraj as well. So all in all, it was a very entertaining race to start off the weekend with the usual suspects right at the top, with Anish Shetty winning the race, Alvin Xavier coming in second, and Anfal Akhdar taking the third and final spot on the podium. Getting ready for the prize distribution ceremony now. As Raman said at the start of the broadcast, wind swept Coimbatore, and you can see that through the flags that are fluttering across the Kari Motorspeedway. Started off as a slightly cooler day, but now as the bikes and the cars came out, the sun decided to make a special appearance too. It's bright and sunny now, and you can see those flags, JK Tyre flags, and that gives you a fair amount of idea. It is fairly windy out there. Those are your three race winners, just waiting for the ceremony to start, interacting with each other and the media members. That's Anfal Akhdar coming in third in this race. Two podium finishes now, Anfal. Obviously he'd want to move further up as far as the podium is concerned, but this time round has to settle for third. Coming in second is your one-time race leader, but lost the lead. That is Alvin Xavier. Third second place finish in 3 races. It takes him up to 24 points as far as the Riders' Championship is concerned. That's your race winner now. Anish Damodar Shetty, the lad from Hubli, making it 3 out of 3 in this category for the season. 30 out of possible 30 points. Anish Damodar Shetty, Alvin Xavier, Anfal Akhdar, your race winners. He's got a big smile on his face as Anish, and why not? Anfal as well. Second runner-up getting a check of 10,000 rupees. 20,000 rupees for the first runner-up of round 2, race 1. And a check of 30,000 rupees for the race winner, Anish Shetty. Get together now for a photo of the winners. It's a triple A at the top. Anish, Alvin, Anfal.
Hey buddy, you tell me. All good buddy. I put most of the line on this update. You will take up to the
The wind not making it easy.
Just got off in the nick of time.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Congratulations on the medal.
For a moment for that live. Just stay on for a moment. Just for 1 minute. Thank you. Guys, want to pick anything? Let me know whenever. We'll have to take the masks off now. Bakusa, we're good for live. Are we good for live? Anfal, third place finish for you. Happy man?
Like, I am very much happy.
Overall, how would you say the race went for you?
Actually, I want to be with that top 2 riders. So I got a mistake in C4, C5 corner, and from there they took a lead. So there went a big gap between the top 2 riders and third rider. So not also for third also it was very close finishing, because 4 of the riders were fighting for third position, and Alhamdulillah, I'm happy to finish in third. Thank you.
Congratulations, enjoy the moment. Let's have a quick chat with those two who finished first and second. I'm going to get the two of you, I'm going to slot in right in the middle, because there was a healthy little banter that the two of you had when the race ended, but there was a very healthy battle in the last 2 laps. I'll talk to you first, Alvin, because you in fact took the race lead for a bit and then couldn't hold on to it.
Yeah, it was a fun race. This is the most race which I enjoyed for 3 races. Then what happened in last lap actually was, I know Anish will overtake me somehow in last lap, but I'm a little bit stronger in last sector. So I thought I will make a move in last sector. So when he took a defensive line in the Mickey Mouse entry, I took a wide line to carry more speed. But in the wide line there was some debris on the track.
Correct.
Yeah, so when my bike got over it, my bike wobbled a little bit. So then he made a gap. So I thought I will settle down for second. That's it.
Well, not bad. At least another second place finish for you. More valuable points in the kitty as well. That's also important.
Yeah. It's good for the championship. Anyway, 3 seconds in a row.
Right. And for someone who's won 3 in a row now, Anish, you seem to be making a bad habit out of winning.
Not really. It feels good to be winning, so whatever it takes, we just put in that effort to it. A race wasn't how we expected it to be, because there was a little bit of behavioral mistake with the bike, so we just need to figure out what it was. So I had to change and plan the race accordingly as it went on. But overall, a good race. We had a great fight.
And there was a little incident initially. You actually lost out in the very first lap itself. You lost that pole position to Meku.
Yeah, so in the race starts, there's a little bit of fluttering which is with the bike is pulling up, and I'm not very sure why that could be. Even probably the engine was much colder to take the race start. So just need to figure that out. That's what costed me the race start.
Well, nonetheless, you made your way back, clawed your way back, and took the checkered flag. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Savor the moment. Well, that's what we have. A little chat with the winners. Stay with us. There's more race action coming your way.
Right then, we've had the first race of the second round with Anish Shetty winning the opening race, Alvin Xavier coming in second, and Anfal Akhtar taking the third place on the podium. Right then, done with the first race. That was JK Tyre presents Royal Enfield Continental GT Cup. Now we're on to the second race. As you can see, the preparations have started, and this will be the JK Tyre Novice Cup category. First race in this category for the weekend, second of the second round. And before we proceed any further, we'll quickly go to the tracks where we got Raman Banot.
Well, we've seen one action-packed race. We're heading into another one, but this is of a different category. This is the JK Tyre Novice Cup. And remember what we saw in round one at Coimbatore earlier, a few weeks ago. It was Ruhan Alva who had dominated proceedings in this race category. Will we see a similar outcome in round two? That's the big question that needs answering. And I can tell you what, you can see a vacant spot here where the pole position driver is going to take his place. So wait and watch. Ruhan Alva once again is the man, is the young driver that everyone's going to have their eyes on, because he has really shown that he's quicker than the rest of the field. His teammate though, and you can see the car that's lined up on P2, and that's Jaden. He's had a good run as well. He's also in contention, albeit off the pace and off the points in terms of comparisons in the overall driver standings, but he'd like to make this second round count. It's windy in Coimbatore. We've got race action coming your way. The temperatures have cooled down, but I can assure you of one thing, that the track temperatures have gone up, and the temperatures will continue to go up as far as racing action is concerned. So, very, very quickly, we're going to have a quick little chat with a very, very special driver who had a fantastic season last time around, who made sure that winning was a habit, because he went on and notched up a race win in each and every race that he'd taken part in. I've got Amir here with me. Hi, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. Yeah.
Last season brings back fond memories for you as far as this category is concerned.
Yeah, we had a pretty successful year in that first year. We got all 12 wins, so that was good.
Well, I love the way you say we, because you're the man behind the wheel.
Yeah, I mean, the team worked very hard, especially they gave me a very good car. So then, we meaning me and the team, we worked together, and we were able to get that result. So
a lot of experienced drivers in Team M Sport who mentored you, whether you talk about Vishnu Prasad and a whole lot of others who, took you through the paces. And now this season around, where you've moved up to the Formula LGB4 category from the Novice Cup, you go to a different team and you'll be up against those guys whom who took you through the paces last year.
Yeah, it's very exciting. As a racing driver, you always want to try and prove yourself against the best. So driving against these all these champions and all is going to be very fun. So I'm looking forward to it.
What's changed in terms of changing of team from M Sport in the Novice Cup last year to now Formula LGB4 and with Ahura?
Yeah, from the team point, it's not actually that different. It's more about the category, because the LGB4 category is much more competitive. The lap times are all very close, and all the racers, top 8-9 guys have won some sort of championship, so it's very fun and very close racing.
Now, you had 12 race wins last season, a perfect record. And now this season in the same category, the JK Tyre Novice Cup, there's a young Ruhan Alva who's notched up all race wins in round one, looking to emulate what you did last season.
Yeah, he's a great kid. He's very fast. Yeah, and I hope he does it actually. So yeah, let's see.
Well, let's have you wish him all the best, and why don't you come around as well, because we've got Ruhan right here, the man who's notched up 3 race wins in round one, looking good to have a good start to round two as well. Rohan, what's the confidence like?
Hoping to replicate what I did last round. I think it's definitely possible to get 3 wins again, so hoping for the best.
Well, as they say, how's the Josh? Simply put, Rohan says the Josh is good, and I'm set, looking forward to replicate what happened in round one, in round two as well. Any little piece of nuggets of advice when the pressure starts getting on you and you start thinking, I've got all race wins, can I do the same? Is there something you'd like to tell Rohan?
No, I'm sure Rohan will manage to get it anyway. I don't have to tell him anything.
Well, that's confidence for you. Rohan, go well. Wishing you all the best. And Amit, thanks so much for speaking with us. We'll have you in the race car behind the race wheel for the next race, yeah? Cheers, thanks so much for joining in. Quick little chit-chat going on. We've got the first race of this particular round in the JK Tyre Novice Cup getting underway in just a little while from now. Let's very quickly hop across and see what's happening as far as P2 is concerned. And there's going to be an interesting little chit-chat that will happen here with Jaden, who's on P2. The two M Sport cars once again dominating the front row. Jaden, how's the prep?
Not bad. Really good, yeah, by the team.
And got all the family support that you need.
Yeah, that's there.
We talked about this last time around, how there's a certain degree of pedigree where with the two of you coming from a racing background, families involved in motorsport. So how's that rubbed off? And I'm going to ask Senior as well.
It's doing well, yeah, as you can see, both in the front row. Got a good quali. Hopefully he can be aggressive and keep up in the race.
Any last minute advice from the big man to his son?
Just stay cool and focused on the driving, and the rest will take care of itself.
Simple words, but effective indeed. We got race action coming up in just a bit. Don't go anywhere.
Right, that was Raman on the tracks talking to P1 and P2. The championship leader, that's Ruhan Alva, and P2 Jaden Farrier. Very quickly, we'll talk you through the grid. As I said, Ruhan Alva in P1, Jaden in P2. We've got Aditya Parasuram in P3, Aman Nagdev in P4, Hari Krishna Baiju in P5, Naeem Rizvi P6, then you got Nitesh Chaudhary P7, Chetan Suruneni, who's second in the Drivers' Championship in P8, Adhir Parashar P9, Joel Joseph P10, we got Advait Jamba in P11, Prarthana Murugavel in P12, we got Ashish Patel in P13, Shivesh Selva Ratnam in P14, Kishan Bindal P15, Dhruv Soma P16, Gaurav Kochar and Raj Kanwar Yadvanshi in P17 and 18, while you got Pranit Watway along with Karthik and Chandrasekhar in P19 and 20, and we got Mukul Kumar P21 and Prabhanjan Paruchari P22, and Anway Hemrajani will start right at the back of the grid in P23. Was a penalty for Gaurav Kochar, a 10-place grid penalty from round 1. So that's carry forwarded here, and he's going to start at 17th position. So must have been 7, then got that 10-place grid penalty, and he starts at P17, does Gaurav Kochar. That's Hari Krishna Baiju of DTS Racing from Thrissur, Kerala. So keep an eye out on those two yellow birds right at the top. That's Ruhan Alva and Jaden R. Farrier. Ruhan looking to make it 4 out of 4, while Jaden will be looking for his first race win. Remember, he's finished on the podium, but he'd be looking for the checkered flag, a race win, and try to add some more spice in the Drivers' Championship. As far as the Drivers' Championship is concerned, very quickly, we'll talk you through that. It's 30 out of 30 for Ruhan Alva. Chetan Suruneni coming in second with 18 points. Then we got Jaden with 14 points in third, tied with Aditya Parasuram. Both of them have 14 points each. Then you got Joel Joseph with 11 points and Nitesh Chaudhary with 10 points. Gaurav Kochar finished third in race 1 of round 1 in this category, and then had 2 DNFs that did not finish. That's the reason why he's languishing in the 7th position with 6 points, followed by Naeem Rizvi, who's in 8th, Anway Hemrajani 9th, and Adhir Parashar in 10th. From the pits, now on into the combox. Welcome back, Raman.
Thanks so much, Karthike. Much needed exercise, if I'm concerned. Well, as far as I'm concerned, that's healthy and much needed. But what's needed by Ruhan Alva is another race win. to keep himself in the hunt. I was just talking to Amir Saeed on the racetrack, the young driver who created a sensation last year by notching up a race win in each and every one of the 12 races that he took part in, and dominated the JK Tyre Novice Cup last year. Rohan Alva seems to be following in those footsteps. He's notched up 3 race wins so far, but that was just round 1. This is round 2, and it'll just, if he can continue that kind of form, it'll just underline his authority in this race class, and also just highlight what a balanced head he's got on his young shoulders.
Absolutely. Off they go now for the race. 10 laps in this category. The JK Tyre Novice Cup. Looks like a very decent start there for Rohan Alva. Yes, it is. Started at P1. He's maintained his lead. Oh, that's a very good start for Aditya Parasuram as well. He's on to 3rd now, where he started. And there's an incident on corner 1 straight away. This is the corner which proves to be very tricky for these young drivers. There's got one car there, we can see. There's another one involved. He'll be hoping. That's another couple of them here. Car number 63, that's Adit Parashar. That's what happened, Raman, there.
Yes, and Joel Joseph as well. But this is the earlier incident. Going into C1, collision of 2 cars. One of them, yes, did rejoin the race. Ashish Patel, it seemed, did rejoin the race. But this was the other incident. Joel Joseph and Adit Parashar. And I think both of them are done as far as this race is concerned. So pretty much done for the day, you'll have to say.
Well, certainly done for the day in this category. We've had 3 races. We got the LGB Formula 4 to come in as well later on.
Yes, Karthikeya, but I think now we'll have the yellow flag out because the cars are on the track where the incident took place. So there's no overtaking allowed. Let's take another look and see what had transpired. You won't get that from this angle because these two had already collided with each other. But I'd like to highlight another thing. When you look at the race start, it wasn't the best of starts for Jayden Parriott, who in fact was on P2 and actually dropped back to about 6th or 7th and had cars go by. Now the red flag's out, which means there will be a restart to this race. A red flag on the very first lap of the race. So that would mean that these cars are going to line up once again on the starting grid, with the incident having taken place on lap 1 itself. So it was supposed to be a 10-lap race.
We lost 3 cars, that's P9 and P10 in Adit Parashar and Joel Joseph. And apart from that, we also have another one that's not present there. Ashish Patel was also involved, but he was lucky enough to have his car still running, so he joined the pack. Instructions coming in for the young drivers. I've seen this as well, Raman, since the layout of the track has been changed here. Corner 1 into corner 2 has proved to be fairly tricky for these young drivers. Not so much at times for the LGB Formula 4 experienced campaigners, but for these young racers, certainly has proved to be just a bit troublesome.
Yes, and I think that's the exuberance of youth which leads to really hurtling down the straight and then slamming on the brakes a little late. You miss the brake point, and that's exactly what happens. As you can see, these 2 cars getting towed off.
Eagerly waiting for all the 5 reds to go off so that they can start the race again. That's your championship leader. So you've got 5 minutes for the restart rather.
And that's the key. That's the key here with that slightly off start for Jayden Parriott. You can see car number 9. He was actually in the front row when the race began, but he didn't have the best of starts in the opening lap, which is why if you look at his position now, he's actually on P6 is Jayden Parayat in car number 9. So not the best of, I beg your pardon, that's Naeem Rizvi, I beg your pardon, Jayden Parayat. Let's see how he goes about it. He's on P2.
I think because it's a restart, they will restart the race, so they will take their places back on the grid. Well, that's lucky for Jayden, because he certainly did not have a very good start. But I think he'll be thanking his stars, won't he?
Let's see how it's going to go now. An incident on the very first lap of the race, so it's going to be a full 10 laps. That's what you're going to get.
As you can see, 5 minutes before the start of the race. On the right, you see the race control room. The left is the pits. And it's still, compared to the last round, the weather is a lot more pleasant. It's a lot cooler, but the sun is coming down, so the track will certainly be warming up, and that's, I think, perfect coming into the next race. That'll be the LGB Formula 4. That's the high-octane race of the day.
Absolutely, Karthikeya. Meanwhile, those 3 cars that are missing on the racetrack, as you were talking about earlier, Joel Joseph, Adit Parasha, 2 of them involved in an incident who will not be involved in this restart of the race. So disappointment there for DTS Racing and Joel Joseph, a young driver. Also Adit Parasha from Hasten Performance, the lad from New Delhi. He'd be a tad disappointed, missing out on an opportunity here in the very first race of this category in round 2.
You can see very quickly, the moment the mechanics and the support staff realize there is 5 minutes to go, they rush out towards the cars and just see the final tweakings, if there's anything, if the drivers felt anything in that one lap going through the speedway, and then, you know, there's minor adjustments till the very last second, and then you'll see within seconds the track will be clear and we'll be ready for race action.
And you saw the safety car a little while ago just doing a lap around the circuit to ensure that there's no debris on the track that might cause a hindrance or become a cause of worry for these young drivers when race action does begin.
We should remember in the last race, the Royal Enfield Continental Cup, GT Cup, there was, in that last lap, there were a couple of pieces of metal still on the track, obviously, and thankfully there's no harm done. There was no problem at all, as Anish Shetty and Alvin Xavier were fighting for that top spot. But I think the support staff has done a terrific job. They've very quickly cleared the track as well. Whatever there was has been taken away, and we're almost ready for the start, or rather I can say restart of this race. That's the safety car, the star that Raman, you love so much.
Absolutely. German engineering at its best.
Well, I think it's one of the safest cars around, and I think it's used globally as well when it comes to the safety cars. So now, just under 3 minutes left for the restart of this race. First, we'll have the formation lap, and that will be followed by 10 laps in this category. That's the JK Tyre Novice Cup. So welcome back out of the break. We're just moments away from the restart of this race, the second of round 2. First in this category. Earlier we had one race, that was the GT Continental Cup. It's a very exciting race. We're hoping more of the same, please, as far as this race and the next one is concerned. Raman, you're talking about the wind and how you said it's a wind-swept Coimbatore. Very clearly evident from all the flags. And obviously, if you're not in this shot, but in some of the other shots, you can see there is a massive, massive field of windmills, known as the city of windmills, Coimbatore. Off they go for the formation lap. There seems to be a problem with one of the cars. That's Pratana, or rather Advait Jampa.
Yes, I think the car stalling on the track. Advait Jampa, a Momentum Motorsports car. Advait, who's from, there you can see it, car number 66. Advait, who's from Mumbai, driving for Momentum Motorsports. Finally got that car moving.
Formation lap now once again. That helped them get the temperatures of the tyre back where they wanted to be before the start of the race. Jampa's joined in again. Will be interesting to see where he starts. If he does get back in time, he probably will be able to get back at his position. That's P11.
Yes, he had a qualifying time of 1 minute 19.896 seconds, did Advait Jampa. Now you compare that with the driver who was on pole position, Rohan Alva, whose qualifying time was 1 minute 17.239. This tells you a fair bit of difference, at least about 2.5 odd seconds separating the two.
This is going to be very interesting because you see the lap times, as I said, 1 minute 17 for Rohan and Jaden. And then you've got only Aditya Parsuram, who clocked 117.899. The others have been 118 and above.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was coming to, Kartikeya, that, you know, the difference between the top three is less than a second. When you talk about Rohan Alva, Jaden Pariyat or Aditya Parsuram in qualifying, the distance or the difference in terms of timing between these three was just under a second. So it's going to be a very keenly contested race for sure.
So that's the end of the formation lap. That's all done and dusted. No problem at all. You see Advait as well coming in and joining in at P11. They'd be hoping that this time around, when the actual race happens, there's no jump or no problem at all as far as a halt. High reds, and off they go. This time it's a decent start for Jaden as well as Rohan Alva. A bit of a problem for one of the Momentum Motorsports cars. Rohan continuing to lead. In fact, Aditya Parsuram also maintains his position. That's P3. Started at P3, stays at third. This is the corner once again. We talk about how this corner proves to be tricky for these young racers. A couple of them having a bit of contact, and very smartly done there by Mukul Kumar. Doesn't take the traffic jam route, goes straight through.
Oh, there's another incident, and this time around at least 3 cars involved in it. But luckily for the race, and luckily for these young drivers, including Ashish Patel of M Sport, the car is still running and they rejoin the race. So an eventful first lap, that's what we've seen so far.
I think that this is something that generally happens as well with these the novice cup category, but no problem as such for Rohan Alva, no problem at all for Jaden Pariyat as well. Jaden comes in from Guwahati. From the racing family, both of them.
Going into Q1, talking of tyres there, this was the track markers for the of Quest Motorsport. The lad from Gurgaon just went through the tyre barricading and rejoined the race quite safely. But, the safety car is out on the track. You can see the board being held out by the officials to the right of your screen, and that just tells you that they're all driving behind the safety car, the yellow flag being waved, which means that no overtakings allowed. And that's probably because of that incident that took place later on, as you see in the lap. Probably a couple of cars that were involved. They just want to ensure that there's no blockade or any debris on the racetrack, which is why the safety car is the car that's leading the pack at the moment.
So as you said, Raman, no overtaking allowed. That's the board Raman was talking about. SC safety car that's been deployed. The star See right in the front of the car, the Mercedes. A35. No overtaking allowed. Look at the background. Beautiful picturesque setting. That's the bird eye view of the Kari Motorspeedway. You can also see the old layout, the old track as well.
Well, it's the caravan of cars, but they're not going as fast as they can or as fast as you'd like to see them go at the Kari Motorspeedway, and that's because the yellow flag's been waved, the safety car's out, still checking on this lap, and I think just slowing down to ensure that this very well might be the only lap that we have behind the safety car for the moment. I dare say we might just see race action commence pretty soon. Keep an eye on the safety car and keep an eye on the lights of the safety car. We'll show you that in just a bit. I dare say that safety car might be going into the pit lane, and we'll get back to race action pretty soon. Keep an eye out. Yes, the lights are out, so it's going to go into the pit lane, and we are back to racing action now.
That's a very good job done there by the marshals. They cleared out whatever there was in under one lap, so we can have proper racing action commence, and very smartly done there as well by Rohan Alva. Just slowed down a tad bit, held everyone back, and then off he went to make sure nobody has a chance. Now Aditya Parsuram trying to take on the inside, challenges Jaden, but Jaden does very, very well. There might be a little touch, but Jaden holds on to his second position.
I think he did well, did Jaden Pariyat. Held on to his racing line, forced Aditya Parsuram to take the risk, and that didn't pay off.
Rohan Alva continuing to lead. There's a good battle now going on for second and third between Jaden and Aditya. Be interesting to see how things pan out. Rohan is very smartly, very quickly just built up that 1.5-2 second gap between himself, gives him some breathing space. As the shot from the drone. Aman Nagdev be a bit disappointed. Remember, started at P4, Aman, and he's wasn't able to nail down that position. In fact, move up. In fact, he's dropped down as far as the position is concerned.
Yes, he's dropped down to 5th as Aman Nagdev from 4th. He's now currently running 5th. So keep an eye out on the top 3, because that's where the battle might ensue. Rohan Alva pulls away from the rest of the pack, so he's got a beautiful lead, and that's a wonderful shot from the drone camera, getting a typical bird's eye view of the Kari Motorspeedway. Super camera work. Meanwhile, Rohan Alva, best lap time of 1 minute 17.417 seconds for him. Much faster than Jaden Pariyat and Aditya. In fact, he's the only driver to have clocked 1 minute 17 odd, so under 1 minute 18. He's the only driver so far to have clocked that kind of lap time.
I think he's done that consistently as well. We saw that in the first round earlier in the season. He does pull out fastest lap one after the other, gets that lead between himself, that gap between himself and whoever is second, growing with each and every lap passing by. But the interesting battle I'm thinking would be between Jaden and Aditya for that second and third. Hari Krishan Baiju started at P5, he's moved up to 4th. I think that means there's a swap of positions with Hari Krishan and Aman, who's dropped down to 5th. Naeem Rizvi is in 6th. Naeem, who started at 6th, he'd be a bit disappointed. There's a lot of hope, a lot of potential that's we've spoken about with Naeem is concerned. Did very, very well a couple of seasons ago, Naeem Rizvi. That's the end of another lap, and with every passing lap he's stretching that gap is Rohan Alva. Now it's above 2 seconds, 2.198 between Rohan and Jaden. That's more than 3 seconds between Rohan and Aditya. This is going to be very interesting as well. Chetan Suruneni, who's also in the mix of things as far as the Drivers' Championship is concerned, car number 666. He'd like to do the devil's number on his other competitors and rivals.
And Karthik, if I remember correctly, in terms of driver standings, of course, there is no doubt about who was leading that. That was Rohan Alva, who's got 3 race wins under his belt. Chetan Suruneni overall was second in the driver standings in the JK Tyre Novice Cup. So he'd be keen on a good finish here in round 2 in the races that will be held.
Absolutely, I think he'd love to do that because then
As you can see, he's actually moved up to 6th now as Chetan Surineni at the end of lap 4. The best lap for him was the 4th lap where he clocked a 1 minute 19.7 seconds.
coming through that final corner onto the straight, no problem for Ruhan Alva, followed by teammate Jaden Pariat, who's followed by Aditya Parsuram, still not breaking the 117, 118 barrier, all these except Ruhan Alva. Kari Krishnan is 4th. Aman Nagdev will be put under pressure by Chetan Surineni very soon. We'll see that. Just watch out for that. Aman is in car number 70 of Momentum Motorsports, the lad from Noida. And the Bangalorean in Chetan Surineni would be looking to put him under more pressure.
Lots of action in the mid-pack as well, as you can see. Good run by Anvay Hemrajani, who's just gone past one of the smoke bellowing out of one of the cars. It looks like the car of Nitish Chaudhary from Momentum Motorsport.
It's not been a good start for Momentum Motorsports, so one can say, because remember, even during the start or the formation lap also, one of the cars stalled, and now you can see smoke blaring out of that car of Nitish Chaudhary.
As the Mumbai lad might just have to pull into the pit lane as the cars come around the bend towards that final straight. Keep an eye out for Ruhan Alva. He's had a good run so far, leading the race. Best time of 1 minute 17.417. That's been the best lap time that he's clocked, which came in lap number 3. We've now seen 6 laps go by in this 10-lap race. This is the 7th lap that's currently in progress. Jaden Pariat in 2nd, Aditya Parsuram in 3rd. All 3 who are at the moment in podium finish positions have a racing legacy or some sort of an association with motorsport. As far as their generation is concerned, they're, all 3 young drivers have had their fathers involved with motorsport. Locking of brakes there, and I guess there's a problem that has seen one of the drivers just careen off the racetrack.
Dhruv Soma was that. This is Rajkumar Yadvanshi, car number 33, again just spinning, and the car stopping there. Oh well, it's on, so he's back on the racetrack. That was car number 7 that just streaked through with all that smoke coming in, and could be the end of the race for Dhruv Soma of Avalanche Racing.
I just want to take another look at what transpired there, what we saw a little while ago. But for the moment, no problems for Ruhan Alva. He's the race leader. And I'd like to highlight one more thing here about Ruhan Alva. If you remember round 1, there were a couple of races where the safety car came out, and Ruhan Alva, the tactics that he deployed, he was the race leader driving behind the safety car. The way he controlled the race once the safety car went into the pit lane, the tactics that he deployed to ensure that he kept the race lead, I think that just tells you how he thinks through things. But problems here, but he's recovered well, as Aditya Parsuram just seemed to careen off the track onto the curb. In car number 15, Aditya Parsuram still doing well to maintain control and stay in the race.
Well, he manages to hold on to his 3rd position, but we are a little worried there for a second. Slid off the track for a moment, but luckily for him, the car kept steady, kept straight, and he was able to get back on the track. Chetan Surineni will be happy. He's moved up to 5th now. He's 2nd as far as the Drivers' Championship is concerned. He started at P8, and he'd be hoping to get another couple of places if possible. He'd certainly be trying for that. Ruhan Alva, as we were talking, Raman, with every passing lap now, it's under just close to 3 seconds, the gap between Ruhan and Jaden, and more than 5 seconds between Ruhan and Aditya Parsuram. In fact, that'll be a little more obviously with Aditya sliding off on that corner. He'd probably lose a second or two. As I said, yes, 7.820 seconds the gap between Ruhan Alva and Aditya Parsuram, who's in 3rd. Chetan remains 5th. Hari Krishnan Baiju has done a good job to stay in contention. He's in 4th. 2 laps remaining. This is the penultimate lap, the second last lap of the race. 8 laps are done. Once again, a very dominant performance by Ruhan Alva. He seemed very calm and composed before the start of the race when you had a quick chat with him as well. And obviously you got someone who got a 12 on 12 last season to wish him luck. So I'm not surprised he's made it 4 out of 4.
Yes, Amir Saeed, the young driver who dominated proceedings again for Team M Sport. It was last season when he won 12 out of 12. Yes, I was having a chat with him and Rohan Alva just before the start of the race. It's good to see these young drivers have such a cool, calm, collected head on their young shoulders. They're not flustered by the moment. They're not overtly concerned about the records that beckon. As we see Rohan Alva complete lap number 9. Now this is the final lap of the race that they head into. No problems for Rohan Alva. He's got a clear sight of the track ahead of him. Doesn't need to do anything different. He's got a healthy gap between himself and Jaden Pariath, his teammate, of about 3.129 seconds.
There he is, the race leader on your screen. No problem for him, as Raman said. Just gliding through this racetrack like a hot knife through butter. Absolutely no problem at all. And can't say that about the others, but almost a problem-free race for Jaden Pariat as well. Aditya Parsuram had a couple of moments, but apart from that, he's been very steady. Battle between Prarthana Murugavel and Ashish Patel there that you saw moments back.
I think the big question, Kartikeya, is that can Hari Krishna Baiju hold on to the 4th place that he's running in currently? He's about 4.5 seconds ahead of Chetan Surineni, who's currently running 5th. And I say this because that position, 5th place position for Chetan Surineni, if he were to finish in 4th, would be very valuable in terms of points. But it's going to be another race win for Rohan Alva as he takes the checkered flag. 4 out of 4 for this young lad this season in the JK Tyre Novice Cup.
Another podium finish as well for Jaden Pariat. So it's an M Sport 1-2 with Aditya Parsuram coming in 3rd, collecting some points for himself as well. But again, very, very dominant on the racetrack, Rohan Alva. So M Sport 1-2, Aditya Parsuram in the 3rd, Hari Krishna Baiju doing well to remain 4th and be amongst points, and so did Chetan Surineni. Although obviously with Rohan Alva winning the race, the gap that he has between himself and Chetan Surineni was always going to grow. But with Chetan getting a few points as well, that's kept him in the hunt as far as the championship is concerned. Although we're not even halfway through the season, but every little matters, every little helps, and he's got that now as Chetan Surineni coming in 5th. But absolutely dominating performance here from Rohan Alva. Rohan the lad, unstoppable, unbeatable at the moment as far as the Novice Cup category is concerned.
Absolutely. 10 points for the race win for Rohan Alva, 8 for Jaden Pariat, a 2nd place finish. And we talked about Chetan Surineni with that 5th place finish. He's going to walk away with 4 points, valuable 4 points for him. That will keep him in the hunt and try and stave off the challenge that he might get from someone like a Jaden Pariat in the overall driver standings, because Jaden, remember, also with regular podium finishes is keeping himself in the hunt for a 2nd place spot in the driver standings overall.
So that's the confirmation on your screen. Rohan Alva the winner, Jaden Pariat coming in 2nd, and Aditya Parsuram coming in 3rd. So very interesting, I think, to be honest, although it is still fairly early in the season. But I think the top spot is all but, won't say sealed, but he's done a very good job, moved up to 40 points. The interesting battle will be for the 2nd and 3rd position. As mandatory and compulsory after the race, all the drivers, all the cars go through the mandatory weighbridge. So another typical dominating performance there from Rohan Alva, making it 4 wins out of 4 in this category for the season. Had 3 out of 3 in round 1, and he's started where he left off, winning the first race in this category. That's the Novice Cup. $40 points out of a possible 40. 8 points for Jaden Pariat with the 2nd place finish in this race. 6 for Aditya Parsuram. a very interesting race. Let's have a quick look at the highlights. So off the wind, there was a little bit of a problem there for the Parashar, if I'm correct. Incident on corner number 1. A very good start for Ruhan Alva. Remember, the race was restarted the first time they started the first formation lap, and then on to the first lap. There were a couple of incidents, and the race was red flagged and had to be restarted. That was Nitish Chaudhary of Momentum Motorsports. You see a lot of smoke blaring out of the back of his car. Couldn't continue for too long, obviously. Ruhan Alva very comfortably from start to finish, from pole to flag. A very, very comfortable race lead for him. Started at P1 to full advantage. That was through Soma there. The brakes and the tires locking up. Rajkumar Yadvanshi there also spinning, but eventually was able to get the car running and back on the track. Naeem Rizvi was put under a bit of pressure by Gaurav Kochhar. Remember, Gaurav got a podium. That was Naeem Rizvi spinning off, but luckily again for him as well, the car engine kept running and he was able to get back on the track. Ruhan Alva, as we said, absolutely dominating as far as the race and performance was concerned. He's made it 4 out of 4. Young Ruhan Alva is following in the footsteps of Amir Saeed, who made it 12 out of 12 last season, and it was Ruhan who took the checkered flag for the 4th time in this season. So now straight on to the prize distribution ceremony. That's Aditya Parsuram, the lad who came in 3rd. Jaden Tariat, who took 2nd position on the podium. Another podium finish for him as well. You can clearly see he's all smiles behind that mask. And that's your race winner, Ruhan Alva. He's made a very, very good habit of it. On the right, Sita Raina, chairperson of for women in motorsports in India. She's doing a terrific job. And over her period of her tenure, we've seen the women participation growing and increasing multifold. Those are your winners: Ruan Alva, Chetan Parriott and Aditya Parasuram. Made it a very good habit. 4 out of 4. There will be a very intense battle for second and third as far as the Drivers' Championship is concerned. Congratulating the race winner there, Sita Raina.
I'll just have a chat with them.
Yeah, please get me down. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Luckily for me, I'm joined by her son here.
Guys, you'll have to
We
take the
ran
mask
up
off.
in the commentary box. We very warm welcome, and obviously would know her up close and better than you. Just very quickly before the prize distribution starts, or in fact we'll come back to that. We got Raman there with the race winners.
Well, what's a JK Tyre Novice Cup race if you don't have the safety car coming out after the first lap or in the first lap itself? That happened today as well. Just talk us through how the race went for you.
For me, the start was pretty good, and then afterwards tried a couple of moves on Jaden, didn't work out, and then had a technical issue. My clutch got stuck midway, and then couldn't recover from it.
Towards the end of the race, was that what you were struggling with? Your car just seemed to be swaying off the track a tad.
I didn't have as much engine braking I would have liked, so it was pretty unstable under braking.
Well, nonetheless, you did manage a podium finish, a third place finish for you. Well done.
Thank you.
Quick chat with the two of you. An M Sport 1-2 once again. I'm going to have a quick chat with Jaden first. Jaden, when the race began, before the restart, you actually didn't have the best of starts off P2.
Yeah, it was not as great as I hoped it would be, but yeah, thankfully both the restarts helped a bit. Yeah.
And then, of course, you were pretty much in your own zone, holding off the challenge that came through from Aditya.
Yeah, it was a clean race between both of us. Thank you, Aditya, for keeping it clean. Yeah.
Super. And let me have a chat now with Ruan. Ruan, you seem to be making a habit out of it, notching up your 4th consecutive race win.
Yeah, hoping to continue the streak as usual.
Super. Just also talk us through, whether before a start of a race you actually sit down with your team and say, okay, if the safety car comes out, what am I going to do? Am I going to hold back and I'm going to just make sure that that the entire pack slows down behind me before I go for it? Because every time we've seen you come up with a different race strategy.
It's not much that we discussed before the race, but both of us are able to communicate on track pretty well. We know what to expect from the other one, so ends up working well most of the time.
Super. So are you now beginning to feel a little bit of pressure when you say, okay, a perfect 12, does that beckon?
Still not too much pressure. Definitely want the perfect 12, but hoping to go on without any pressure.
Well, it's gone well so far. Good start. Keep it up.
Thank you.
That's all that we have as far as the chat with the winners is concerned. Another race coming up, and that is the Formula LGB4. Stay with us.
Formula LGB for the final race of day 1 in round 2. And it will be a very, very interesting starting grid. 5 out of the top 6 dark dawn. So it's a bunch of silver arrows, if I can call them, surrounding one yellow bee. In fact, the red bee of Amir Said. Amir, remember, made 12 out of 12 last season, but in the Novice Cup category, he's jumped up now to the LGB Formula 4. And he's doing well. He's found form as well in round 1. He's among the top 5 as far as the Drivers' Championship is concerned. Vishnu clearly leading the pack. He's got 21 points. Suhail Shah, his teammate, not far behind on 15 points. We'll have 15 laps in this race. There's generally 10 in the Novice Cup category and 10 in the Royal Enfield Continental GT Cup category. But the LGB Formula 4 is a 15-lap race. Final tweaks, final preparations underway before the start of this race. As you can see, 5 minutes away from the start of this high-octane racing event. That's the LGB Formula 4. For 23 participants in this category. Multiple national champions here as well. And that makes it so very interesting. We got champions like Chitesh Mandori, Raghu Rangasamy as well, Diljit TS, then you got Vishnu Prasad himself. So certainly very, very interesting. Now we'll very quickly go to the tracks. We've got Raman.
Well, it's the perfect setting for the Formula LGB4 race that we're going to hit today on day one of round 2. Now, the interesting part, if you look behind me, and please do not get distracted by the glamour on the track, I am talking about the interesting part, which is that out of the top 6 that you see lined up on the grid, 5 of those cars are Dark Dawn racing cars. So the team Dark Dawn have pretty much monopolized the first front 3 rows as far as the grid's concerned. The only other car that you see in the top 6 is an Ahura racing car, and that, of course, behind the wheel in that particular car is Amir Saeed, last year's JK Tyre Novice Cup champion who'd won all 12 races of the season. So he's there, you can see him in car number 23. He starts off on P4, but you look at the top 6 and you'll only see Dark Dawn racing cars, 5 of them in the top 6. But let's talk to the young driver who is on P1, and that is Arya Singh. So let's have a quick chat with Arya. Arya, all set?
Yeah.
What's it with the Dark Dawn and qualifying for this particular round? You pretty much monopolized the front 3 rows.
Yeah, I mean, that's just down to good teamwork and a good strategy from a team principal. And yeah, of course, we did a great job in qualifying, and hopefully it pays off in the race now.
Well, go well for the race.
Thank you.
That's Arya who starts off on P1. Take a look at what's in store on P2. Another seasoned campaigner in Sandeep Kumar, who's actually on P2. I'm going to go around and have a quick chat with Sandeep. Sandeep, as I was talking to Arya, you guys have monopolized the front 3 rows. So the tactics going into this race now?
I think the tactic would be to at least the worst case finish where we start, keep it clean and not make any silly mistakes jeopardizing your teammate's position. But yeah, we want to race hard and fair, and we want to see where we can move up. So that's the thing for the race.
Well, there were a few disappointments of round 1. I'm sure you'd like to put that behind you in round 2.
Of course, yes. Round 1 was more of damage limitation, but I guess it's time to regain what we lost. It's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
Go well.
Thank you so much.
Seasoned campaigner there. Sandeep starts off on P2 as far as this race is concerned. And there's Tijul Rao who starts off on P3, another Dark Dawn racing driver. So I can tell you what, this promises to be really exciting fair. Under 3 minutes to go before the start of this race. I'm going to head into the commentary box. You enjoy the racing action.
Right, that was Raman with the racers before the start of the race. Before we get to the start of the race, I'll quickly talk you through the grid with Arya Singh at P1, Sandeep Kumar P2, Tijul Rao P3, Amir Saeed P4, Diljit TS P5, you got Ashwin Datta in P6, Anusriya Gulati, another very impressive position for her, P7, Chirag Gharbure, the young lad in P8, Meera Erda P9, Vishnu Prasad P10, he'd be hoping to make his way further up. You got Mohammad Rian in P11, Chitesh Mandodi, a former champion in P12, Mehul Agarwal and Surosh Ataria locking up row 7. Then you got Mohit Aryan and Akshay Kapoor in row 8, Raghu Rangasamy, Bala Prasad in row 9, Ashok Lal and Shrey Diwan in row 10. While we got Priyanshu Talyan in P21, Yokeshwaran Krishnavelu in P22 and Bashir M starting right at the back of the grid. There was a 5-place grid penalty for Bala Prasad. Before we have a quick start of the race. We were talking about Sita Raina's work for women in motorsports. As I said, lucky enough, and on perfect time, joined by her son here in the comm box. Very quickly, got 1 minute before the race starts. Veer, tell us about the work that she's been doing over the last few years.
Well, yes, she started the Women in Motorsport Commission for the FMSCI, I think, in 2016-17. And they've grown from strength to strength. And as you can see, to my surprise and happiness, we've got 2 ladies in the top 10. We've got Anushriya and Meera both fighting up there in 7th and 9th, which is super impressive considering they've out-qualified national champions like Vishnu Prasad and Chitesh.
Well, absolutely, that's commendable, isn't it? Anushriya Gulati in 7th position, Meera Erda in 9th, as we see the cars go off for that formation lap to get the tyres warmed up and ready for race action. It will be 5 out of 6 for Dark Dawn as far as the top 6 are concerned. And coming back to Veer, over the years we've seen the participation for women increase, and not just with the cars, but also in the bikes. You got a young girl called Zena Fernandez from Pondicherry in the Continental GT Cup as well. And over the years, we've seen that number grow.
Oh, absolutely, I think women are growing in strength to strength in motorsport across all formats, whether it be in 4 wheels or 2 wheels, and their participation and strength in the sense. I think the lady in Ms. Fernandez on the bikes was fighting for a top 10 position as well amongst the boys. So it's really encouraging. But starting with this race, you've got Vishnu starting at the back, Chitesh starting at the back. You've got all these champions. It's going to be quite a fight up. It's like Lewis Hamilton starting in 10th in the last Grand Prix. It's going to be a good fight up. I don't think they're going to stay there very long.
Well, I think it'll be very interesting to see how things go for Vishnu Prasad, who starts at P10, and he obviously got former champion Raghu Rangasamy as well, starting at P17. And we've seen very often that when you got all these M Sport, the yellow bees together, they tend to dominate the front of the track. But this time it's the other way around. We've got the silver arrows ahead of the Dark Dawns.
It's almost like you've got the Mercedes versus the Red Bulls happening all over again. These guys have been, ruthless competitors over the last couple of seasons, very equally matched. And to see, this young boy Amir Saeed up there with them is super impressive in his first year in the Formula LGB F4. I saw him karting many years ago in Hyderabad. He was, starting out then. His father used to rally. So, I know his father as well when I was rallying as well. And it's great to see you've got so many children and young men over here actually racing and following in their father's footsteps, and even girls for that matter. So it's fantastic.
Very quickly, Veer, your top 3, your podium finishes.
Oh, well, I think Sandeep, being the veteran he is, definitely there. Arya, I believe, has been super quick all weekend. And I really hope that Amir comes across and maybe troubles them for the top position.
Right, so you heard it from the horse's mouth. Sandeep Kumar, Arya Singh, and hopefully Amir Saeed as well. So the formation lap is done. Very, very, very shortly we'll have the start of the race, the final race of the day. And that's the first in this category. That's the LGB Formula 4. Off they go. It's a decent start for Arya Singh. It's a very, very good start as well for Tijil Rao.
Well, Tijil was putting this real squeeze there on Amir. That was very naughty behavior, but will he get away with it? Look at Amir making a move on Sandeep. Fantastic.
Absolutely. Very good start for Amir Saeed as well. He's moved up to second, but he's under pressure from one of the Dark Dawns. There's a little incident there. One of the cars has gone off the track, and I think from the looks of it, it's Momentum Motorsport. It's Chirag Ghorpure. We'll confirm that in a minute. So off they go. Yep, that looks like Chirag. That's one of the blue cars. That's Momentum Motorsports. That's the early end of the race for young Chirag. Will be very, very disappointed with that. But he'd be happy. Would be Arya Singh. He's had a good start, and Amir Saeed would be delighted.
Well, it seems the safety car's coming out. Yellow flags all around. I think Chirag's car is probably in a dangerous position, so they need to quickly get it picked up and pulled aside. But in the meantime, all the cars gathering, putting their hands up, the drivers being careful and just waiting to get collected by the safety car. But yeah, a lot of movement up front. We didn't get to see much at the back, but I wonder what's happening with the ladies in the back. I hope they're doing well.
That's car number 40, that's Kari. You can see the safety car has been deployed just because of that, because that car was right at one of the corners. Amir Saeed is in second, as you can see. That's the red car of Amir Saeed passing by. Then you've got Sandeep Kumar coming in third. So far, your top three pick are in top three, Veer.
Well, so far so good, but yeah, long race to go, 15 laps. Although now we've completed one on the safety car, but I think the car will come in this lap. As you can see, the car that has been damaged had quite a big hit. You can see the suspension in the rear was completely torn off. So yeah, it's being removed by the crane. I think by the end of this lap, we'll go green again.
Well, hope so too. We don't want too many laps behind the safety car, but that allows me to welcome back Raman in the commentary box. He's had a good day so far, Raman, as far as exercise and running in and out of to the track and then back in the box is concerned.
Well, it's much required, isn't it? I guess it's worked out well. What's not worked out so well is the safety car coming out early on in this race, Veer.
Yes, but as usual, as performed, the guys have lined up again, and I think the lights have gone off on the safety car, so we know PG Abhilash is bringing her in to the pits this lap, and we're going to go green. You can see they're already bunching up nicely into the D. Just wait and watch. Arya Singh is going to go like a bullet shortly.
Well, you talked about Abhilash in the safety car. Was driving the safety car. His son, Abhilash Jr., was driving in the JK Tyre Novice Cup, remember?
Oh, fantastic. And another son who's following in his father's footsteps. Amazing. I'm so happy for Indian motorsport.
Well, now, yes, the safety car does go into the pit lane, and we're going to get racing action unfolding once again. What's the tactic going to be?
Well, I don't think he's been able to get away too much, as they're all on each other's tail. Amir is staying there, and then you've got Sandeep. I would watch out for Sandeep at this stage. He's really a wily old fox, so he's going to make a move while he's trying. But look at Amir. He's right on Arya's gearbox. This is going to be close.
Absolutely. Using the slipstream. Is he going to get past Arya? Saying no. Arya just holds on by the skin of his teeth there.
Well, Amir is dicing for the inside into C2, and he's made it. He's made the move.
And he has pulled it off. Would you believe it? There was just one Ahura racing car in the top 6, and that's the car that's leading the pack right now.
And it seems Arya ran so wide, he's lost 3 or 4 places. But then we've got Sandeep right there, making Tijil is there as well, Ashwin Datta and Diljit, so they're not going to let him go that easily.
Well, they say experience matters a lot, but he's made sure that goes out of the window straight away. As Amir Saeed, young man in his first season in the LGB Formula 4 category, one of the non-dark dawns of the top 6, and he's now leading the race. Started at P4, and it does take a bit of courage, and at times they say you need that courage, you need that streak of, if I may say, madness to go on and challenge these young and in fact experienced campaigners for a young lad like him. And we saw that he dominated proceedings in the last season, and the way things are going, he's done that very, very well again. Amir Saeed.
Well, I'm just interested to see. I see 2 yellow Miko cars slowly creeping up the back of these dark dawns. I want to see which numbers are there. I think it's Vishnu already. It looks like Vishnu's helmet, and maybe Rahul's right on his tail.
Well, this is going to be very interesting. Although he's managed to take the lead,
run really wide over there. He's going to lose steam, and he's going to start blocking Tijil as well.
Right.
That's not good teamwork.
I think he's just trying to pit too hard there to get that race lead back is Sandeep Kumar. But Amir Saeed at the moment is your race leader after 3 laps. Now, although he's taken the lead, what's going to be interesting is can he hold on to that with all that pressure on his young shoulders?
Well, it seems he's being able to maintain it. He's got about a car or maybe 2 between him and Sandeep. Arya is quite close behind, then is Ashwin. But look at that, Vishnu Prasad, he's coming. He's not going to let them go that easily.
Absolutely. Now, what's a little disappointing to see is Sandeep, who's the seasoned campaigner, making those errors early on. And I remember talking to him before the start of the race, and he said round 1 was more about damage control. Round 2 is about wresting control back.
Well, that may be so, but right now you've got this rookie really showing them how cool you need to be behind the steering wheel. And yeah, you've got him followed by 4 Dark Dawns, so we've lost one, it seems.
Yes, it does seem to be the case. But for the moment, in second place was Sandeep Kumar. Tijil Rao's running third. There's Arya Singh in the mix as well, who's fourth, and I guess fifth is Ashwin Datta at the moment.
Vishnu 6th, and then followed by car number 45. Who would that be? Mohammed Ryan, it seems wow. I mean, it seems a lot of people are making progress up the grid. The safety car would have really helped them bunch up at the end of the first lap. And, oh, there's big contact at the back.
Oh, and I think there are two M Sport cars involved for sure, two yellows in that. And had they kept the car running, there is of course car number 8 as well. That's Mohit.
Mohit Aryan, yes, I think he's from Team Avalanche. I raced with him back in the day in the Formula Hyundais in 2008. But it seems a little bit too much aggression on the curb, and he collected car number 14. And then he lost his rear left as a result.
And a couple of them were involved in that. There was Bala Prasad as well in car number 2 along with Mehul Agarwal. So a couple of those cars involved in that incident.
And I think the safety car is going to come out again because we have a stranded car. Mohit Aryan's car is parked up. And yes, sure enough, PG is out and waiting to collect all the cars.
So now another occasion where the safety car has been deployed. 3 cars colliding. I think of the 3, 2 M Sport were back on the track. It was Mohit Aryan's Avalanche that lost the rear wheel as well. Big damage to the car. Obviously ended the race for him. But very impressed with this young lad, Amir Saeed. He started at P4, and they say, you know, he's shown the experienced campaigners as well that they can't just, he's not a pushover. He's certainly there to be counted for.
Well, certainly. I mean, he had a perfect run last year, winning 12 out of 12. So he clearly dominated that series, but sad to see we've lost a Miko car as well as Mohit Aryan's Avalanche. So I think as a total now we've lost 3 runners. So the grid's down to 20.
Yes, absolutely right. I think we lost
Chirag Gurpare to start with.
Correct, of course. And yeah, we've had another incident. I think it's Mehul Agarwal's car, if I'm not mistaken. The car that's perched on the curb.
Well, so the top 5 now, we've still got the 4 Dark Dawns, but led by Amir. And then we've got the 2 Miko boys. I'm still to confirm who the second Miko car is, but right behind that, it's a Hura car yet again. I think that's Anushriya.
I think there's Mohammed Ryan behind Vishnu Prasad. So a couple of Miko, the M Sport drivers there were Vishnu and Mohammed Ryan.
Okay, I think Mohammed started pretty far back on the grid, if I'm not mistaken. So great upward movement from 11th on the grid. I think he's running in the top 7 now. So a lot of places being made. You know, the track layout for Coimbatore has changed quite a bit over the last couple of years. The last corner has changed. The first corner, they put a bus stop in. So yeah, the track is not that dependent on straight line speed as it used to be. So it's all about being smooth in those corners, and yeah, let's see how it goes.
Well, for all the thought, you know, that's gone in, that's made it more challenging for the drivers. We still seem to be getting a whole lot of incidents on C1, despite that corner being changed.
Well, I think C1 in any racetrack, especially after you've got a bit of a straight, because it's a fast straight, you're probably coming on in 3rd gear, shifting up to 5th, and really braking hard, and it's a big overtaking opportunity. But you know, the thing is, these cars are all it's a single make series, the same suspension, same tires, all JK. You've got the same engine, the same bodywork. The only difference, I mean, the teams can make a slight difference in setup, but it's mainly the drivers that make it count. And therefore, you see the racing is so tight. It's anyone's game. In fact, I would say anyone in the top 8 still has a chance to take the win. And the safety car is staying out for 1 more lap, so clearly all the cars haven't been cleared.
Yes, remember it was supposed to be a 15-lap race. This is another lap that we're seeing the safety car come out for. So a couple of laps really going to waste as far as an opportunity is concerned, especially for the Dark Dawns to try and mount a challenge on Amir Saeed.
Well, absolutely. It's always a shame to lose a few racing laps to the safety car, but at the same time, it brings people into the fray who are actually maybe for some reason at the back where maybe they shouldn't have been. So yeah, I think it's a great equalizer now. You know, as Vishnu was slightly behind the Dark Dawns, I think he's going to be right on their tail again. So the danger man, I think, to watch now is the yellow Miko of Vishnu.
I think Vishnu will be licking his lips and rubbing his hands and saying, let the safety car dive down on the pits, and you'll see the aggressive Vishnu that he is behind the wheels in a race. And certainly will be a lot of pressure on a couple of those Dark Dawns who are, let's say, the 3rd and the 4th in the 4 that are there. The Ashwin Datta will be under a lot of pressure as well. Arya Singh, Tejal Rao, and we got Sandeep as well in there. they in turn will be trying to put some pressure on Amir Saeed.
I think Amir is going to have a tough restart because now, don't forget, this is his second safety car restart. He got away well the previous time and he had pulled about nearly 2 car lengths on Sandeep. But, you know, experience counts for a lot. So let's see how this young man does. I hope he does well.
Certainly stalling and slowing things down there. Amir Saeed, get the feeling with the safety car that's pulled up a bit of a speed. Get a feeling that will go into the pits now. We'll keep an eye out on the lights on that safety car. That's obviously an indicator that the job is done for now as far as the safety car is concerned.
Well, it seems that Ashwin is right in front of Vishnu, and I'm sure these guys have had lots of dices, and there we go. We're off again.
And yes, the lights were off, so safety car goes back into the pits, and you can see the cars in the background picking up pace. A very, very good restart for Amir Saeed. He's done very well. He's avoided all that pressure. He's opened up that bit of a gap, let's say, in fact, a couple of cars between himself and car number 9, that's Sandeep Kumar.
Well, as they come onto the straight, Sandeep is not that far back. I think his line at the last corner was slightly different, and now you can see Amir is weaving in the straight. I don't think he can get away with much of that, but he's trying to break the toe, the slipstream, so that Sandeep doesn't go past him on the inside. But let's see. Oh, he's defending into the first corner, and well done.
Certainly very, very well done there by Amir Saeed. He's gone on and held on to the race lead. Don't see much happening from Vishnu as well. One of the cars, the M Sport Yellows. Vishnu at the moment is in 6th place. We've had 7 laps, almost halfway through the race. We've lost a few behind the safety car. But with 8 now remaining, including this one, this certainly would be the business end of the season.
Yes, and I can see Tijal Rao putting Sandeep under pressure, but Sandeep is not letting him go. But I think this is going to play into Amir's hands. He's ever so slightly pulling away, and already I think car and a half, 2 cars in the first lap. Fantastic.
I was just talking to him earlier today. Amir Saeed was saying that when I asked him that what's the difference between being with M Sport last year with the JK Novice Cup and now with Ahura Racing for the Formula LGB. He said more than the team, it's the category that I've moved into, the Formula LGB for another Ahura car. This time not where it's supposed to be, off the track and onto the soft gravel.
Yes, and coming down the straight, a lot of these dark dawns racing each other, jostling, running wide and holding each other up. If I was upset, I wouldn't be pleased at this moment.
No such problem for Amir Saeed though.
And now, Sandeep loses 2nd place. I think Arya Singh has made the move.
Car number 3, that's Tijal Rao. That's he's moved up to 2nd. Sandeep has dropped down to 3rd. This is very, very interesting. The battle for 2nd and 3rd seems to be fairly intense, while Amir Saeed has now opened up a gap of about a second or so between himself and the car in 2nd. And look at that, he's peeling away from that group.
These dark dawns are wasting so much time fighting with themselves. As you saw, Sandeep lost his place to Tijal and then was battling Diljit, who was right on his tail again. So Sandeep losing a lot of momentum, holding Diljit up now. But there you go, Vishnu's got past 2 dark dawns. So Ashwin Datta and Arya Singh have already been passed.
We expected that from Vishnu, didn't we? The moment the safety car would go out, Vishnu will have a right go, and he certainly moved up a couple of places. But remember, he's now surrounded by the dark dawns, a couple of them ahead of him, a couple of them behind him. But he's someone who'll go right till the very end. He's now putting pressure on Ashwin Datta, who's in car number 5. He's now dropped to 4th position. In fact, is Ashwin. Vishnu is moved up to 5.
Well, you can see Vishnu slipstreaming him down the straight. This is going to be really interesting to see whether the Miko has done it successfully. And oh, they've touched, or someone spun around in number 5.
That's car number 5, Ashwin Datta. But luckily for him, he's back on track. We'll have to keep an eye on what happened with Vishnu there. Safety car has once again come out. So this is what happened.
Well, Vishnu was trying to move on the outside. I think made contact with the front right of the dark dawn, spun him around. Vishnu took a shortcut through the tires, but another dark dawn took a shortcut through the tire wall as well on the other side. So a lot of chaos there. The safety cars come out. I think a little prematurely, but I hope they can not get stuck. Oh, it's a full safety car, unfortunately.
Well, Tijal Rao will be happy because there was a bit of a gap between him and Amir Saeed, but that will evaporate now with the safety car coming out. Remember, no overtaking, but you can come as close as you can. So that 2-second gap that Amir Saeed had built up, that's wiped out, and that gives the opportunity to Tijil Rao to now put some more pressure on young Amir Saeed in the final few laps.
Yes, unfortunately, the safety car is going to just make that lead of at least a couple of seconds just evaporate now. Tijil is making himself very well known to Amir and making sure he's in his mirrors. Sandeep right behind him. Vishnu seems to have rejoined behind Sandeep as well. So he didn't lose much position because of that incident. Yeah, in fact, he may have gained one.
He gained one. He was in 5th. He's moved up to 4th now as Vishnu, with Ashwin, I think, being the one who's lost most as far as places are concerned.
Well, any racing incident, if it's considered unfair and reviewed by the race director, it gets referred to the stewards, and even the drivers and the teams can protest if they feel something unjust was done on track. But to me, it looked like a racing incident, but I'm no expert in this. So we'll see. Maybe after the race, there could be further, additions to the results.
That's exactly what I was about to say, Veer, that I'm sure there might be the odd appeal that comes in case there isn't any action taken, because there did seem to be healthy contact between Vishnu's car and Ashwin Datta.
Yes, there was certainly, and I think, but it is all fair. I don't think there was a rash maneuver. Yes, there was contact. Everyone's racing very hard, and as I mentioned earlier, these cars are so equally matched. So there's a bit of contact, but I don't think it was that scandalous. So I think Vishnu now, as you can see, lining up that yellow car in 4th. I think I would be really worried if I was Sandeep at this point.
Sandeep certainly has he's got his eyes on the reflector as well, watching where Vishnu will be, what kind of move he'll try to make. And again, now you got all these 5-6 champion drivers all together at the front, and this will be very interesting when the safety car goes back out. That's one of the cars that's been towed away from the track.
Yes, it seems it's Team Avalanche car number 46 and 999
Ashok Lal and Priyanshu Talyan.
So a lot of clearing going on. In fact, there's almost a traffic jam on the track as the crane hurriedly gets off. I think you're going to have a safety car for another lap, it seems. So another frustrating lap for Amir Saeed, but I hope it plays into his hands, but anything can happen at a restart.
Arya Singh and Ashwin Datta, the two Dark Dawns behind Vishnu Prasad. In fact, they've dropped further back now. All eyes on young Amir Saeed. He's the race leader. That's Bala Prasad. He was given a 5-place penalty, earlier grid penalty for an engine change. It was Bala Prasad. That's why he started way back. As far as the starting grid was concerned, started at P18. So that's how things look like at the moment. 2/3 of the race is gone. Of the 2/3, 1/3 possibly behind the safety car. 11 laps are done. 4 laps remaining. Amir Saeed continues to lead. Tijil Rao in 2nd. Sandeep Kumar 3rd. Vishnu Prasad, who started at P10. He's, as usual, wrestled his way up and he's moved up to 4th. Divjit TS is in 5th. Young Mohammad Ran is in 6th. That means Ashwin Datta and Arya Singh have dropped further back in 7th and 8th.
Well, it's, with these restarts and contact and everything, there's it's bound to be a massive, melee at the beginning. So now I think the safety car will come in this lap, and as you can see, they're all lining up, I can't say bumper to bumper, but gearbox to gearbox. They're right on each other, and you can see Amir has let the safety car go quite a bit, so he has the freedom to decide to just take off whenever he wants. So let's see. It's this is the trickiest part, getting the restart right. He's a young guy, and he's got a lot of experience behind him, so it should be a lot of fun.
There certainly will be a lot of fun, and it's not just only about Amir Saeed. You got Tijil Rao right behind him. You got Sandeep Kumar behind Tijil Rao. You got the 34-year-old Vishnu Prasad in 4th, who's looking to go on and make further up.
Well, the safety car is in now, and Amir seems to have got a massive jump. on Tijil Rao. I think that's going to look like, it looks like a really good start. Let's see now at the start line how far the gap is.
Certainly a very good restart here for Amir Saeed. Decent for Tijil Rao as well. Can he now hold on to this lead that he's got as Amir Saeed as they're coming through towards the end of lap number 12 through that final corner? And yes, he certainly has managed to pull away and get that gap.
Amazing restart, big gap between him and Tijil. Similarly, Sandeep has pulled a good gap from Vishnu as well, but I think he's under pressure.
I think Diljit TS is trying to put some pressure on Vishnu Prasad, and I think he's managed to overtake him from the outside. Yes, it's now 2, 3, 4 for Dark Dawn, and Vishnu Prasad has dropped down to 5th. As that incident on corner number 1 again. Amir Saeed, on the other hand, no such problem at all for him.
But it seems the Dark Dawn of Tijil Rao is right on him now. He's made a mistake somewhere. Tijil is going to make it count. Sandeep is right on Tijil's tail. I think he's attacking him into the corner now.
Well, he's now trying to come in on the outside, but maintaining very good lines. There was Amir Saeed, defended very, very well. Although we know what Tijil Rao can do behind the wheels, but Amir Saeed saying, I'm no less, sir. With Tijil being the senior of the two as far as racing experience in the LGB Formula 4 category is concerned. This is going to be a test of character, and that's, you know, when they say the pressure is what turns carbon into diamond, and this is that kind of an opportunity for Amir Saeed. He can turn out to be the diamond today. Now goes a little wide there, does Amir Saeed.
Running very wide there, and you know, he seems to be struggling in the last corner. I've been seeing the Dark Dawns have been catching him each time, which gives them a very good opportunity to break down the inside. And there you go, Tijil threatening to overtake Amir, but staying there in second. Then you got Sandeep in third, and Diljit TS in fourth. Vishnu seems to be getting dropped by Diljit at the moment.
Well, till the previous round, Diljit had a car number 7. This time he's driving in car number 44. So maybe the 7 wasn't working for him, was it? So he's like, let me change the number, see if that works.
Well, he seems to certainly have the pace, and he's going to threaten Sandeep a bit. But Tijil Rao is really doing all he can, and he's going to, nearly contact between the first two.
And this is the very same corner where Tijil Rao tried to make his move in the previous lap as well. Again, trying to do that, but again, Amir Saeed holding onto his line and slamming that door shut and saying, no way, Jose, no way, you're passing me again on this corner.
Well, as you can see, the Dark Dawn cars have a very different entry into that corner, which is the second last corner of the lap, leading onto the straight. So Amir has the advantage coming on the straight right now, but the Dark Dawn cars, I think, are slightly faster than him in a straight line. But they, again, busy battling themselves. Tijil battling Sandeep battling Diljit, and Vishnu holding Ashwin back as much as he can, but Ashwin seems to have a good run on him.
So now 14 laps done. This is the final lap. Without any silly mistakes, I think Amir Saeed should be able to take the checkered flag. And what a moment it will be for the young man who's moved up from the Novice Cup category onto and rubbed shoulders with the big guns. That's the LGB Formula 4, and he's done so very well.
Well, you know, Sarosh Atare, who's racing in this race as well, is the team owner of Team Ahura. And I don't know if they've won a race before. This could be a first for driver and team in this category. So it could be an absolute fantastic achievement. But let's not count our chickens too fast.
Well, they've had a few podium finishes, but Sarosh, in fact, himself had a podium finish. Amir Saeed too had a podium finish in the last round. Sarosh had a podium finish last season. But as far as being at the top of the podium is concerned, it's getting very, very interesting. Still, there's pressure from Tijil Rao. He's just certainly going to go and fight till the very last inch of this racetrack. Amir Saeed keeping a very calm and cool, composed head on his shoulders.
Well, coming onto the front straight now, Amir is still in the lead. Tijil right on his tail, and you look at Diljit trying to get Sandeep. Can he win? And Amir taking his first victory in class.
Terrific from Amir Saeed. Tijil coming in second. Sandeep Kumar taking third. Diljit TS fourth. Vishnu Prasad fifth. Arya Singh will have to settle for the sixth position. What a race for young Amir Saeed. Twice, or in fact thrice interrupted by the safety car, but he kept his composure. He had his game plan sorted, allowed that gap between himself and the safety car so that he can then push and have a gap between himself and Tijil Ra, who was in second. Very, very well done from young Amir Saeed. Could have been questions for a young man who's come from novice cup category onto the LGB Formula 4. He did very well in that first round last month with a podium finish, and he's bettered that with a checkered flag, with a race win here in round 2. Amir Saeed of Ahura Racing, he has done it, the young man, and he's someone, if you see him on the racetrack, he's always got that smile on his face, and he certainly will have a bigger smile when he takes that helmet off. Dark Dawn come in 2, 3, 4. Vishnu Prasad, who started at P10, will have to settle for a 5th place finish, and Arya Singh in 6th. In fact, Arya Singh and Ashwin Datta coming in with a couple of points as well. So that's the confirmation on the bottom left of your screen. It's Amir Saeed, your race winner, the young man, very, very impressive. Then you got Tijil Rao in 2nd and Sandeep Kumar coming in 3rd. So it's Ahura Racing car that wins. Then it's got Dark Dawn 2 and 3. Very, very impressive, highly impressive. If I'm correct, that is Sarosh Ataria there, who's just gotten off his car, the red car in the red tracksuit and the white helmet. I think he's very quickly, he's the team owner of Ahura Racing, and he's very quickly gone out of his car and given the young driver, Amir Saeed, a big pat on his back, saying, "Well done, son, you've made us proud." And he certainly has. Eventful race is what we had. Let's take a look at the highlights. It was Arya Singh who started at P1. This is the highlights of the race. The LGB Formula 4 category. Young Amir Saeed who started at P4 but had a very good start himself. Moved up to 2nd position. That's the first time when the safety car went down. Till now it was Arya Singh who was leading, and this is when Amir Saeed made his move, took the race lead. Arya Singh going slightly wide, dropping down a few places. In fact, from 1st he dropped down to 3rd and 4th. Then there was that barrage of Dark Dawn cars behind Amir Saeed, with the likes of Arya Singh, Sandeep Kumar, Tijil Rao, all of them trying to put pressure. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 Dark Dawns trying to chase down Amir Saeed. And on occasions we saw, quite a few occasions we saw the likes of Sandeep Kumar going wide, trying to go too hard, extra hard, but nothing could deter young Amir Saeed. That was a contact, a big contact between Mehul Agarwal there, that's one of the Dark Dawns, and Mohit Arya of Avalanche. That was the end of the race for both of them. That's when the safety car came out again. Once again, a very good restart for Amir Saeed. Allowed the safety car to go, built up that gap, and then moved ahead. Was under pressure constantly throughout the race from the likes of Sandeep Kumar, Tijil Rao, while Vishnu Prasad, who started at P10, did very well to move a few places ahead, eventually coming in 5th. This was that period when there were constant pressure. There's a bit of contact there between Vishnu and car number 5 of Ashwin Datta. Both of them were luckily able to get back onto the track. That was your race leader, and once he took the race lead, seemed like there was no stopping him. He was very, very comfortable, very dominant, just the way he was the entirety of last season, Amir Saeed. And a very proud moment for him and Ahura Racing. This was the corner where Tijil Rao tried to put a lot of pressure on that final corner. That's where a couple of times the Dark Dawns went fairly wide. Once again, you see that corner, Tijil Rao trying to put that pressure on Amir Saeed, but Amir, despite being young, showed great composure, maintained his lines, And in the end, coming through that final corner of the final lap, taking the checkered flag. You could see the delight already and celebration from the young man. Well done, Amir Saeed. So we now go on towards the presentation area where we'll have the prize distribution ceremony. Your race winner, Amir Saeed. There he is, the young man with the smile on his face. Hugs and high fives for him. As they said, doesn't happen very often when you find an Ahura car on the top of the podium. We've got a podium in the last round, and this time he's done one better and he's moved right to the top of that podium. The future of Indian motorsports as far as young driver and racing is concerned, it looks very, very bright. See the Raina on the screen, having a chat with her son Veer Raina. What a moment for young Amir Saeed, rubbing shoulders with multiple national champions, and he's come out on top. Coming in as a second runner-up, Sandeep Kumar of Dark Dawn Racing. Tejil Rao taking the second spot on the podium. And your race winner, the young Amir Saeed of Ahura Racing. What a moment for him. What a moment for Ahura Racing. Very, very well done, young man. And the winners are joined by Sita Raina, chairman for Women in Motorsports in India. You can see all smiles from Ahura Racing team. On the left was Anushya Gulati. Again, as you see, as always, fairly windy in Coimbatore. Ahura getting the Constructors' Trophy as well. You can imagine that smile behind that mask for Amir Saeed. For such a young man, he's very composed. And despite all that pressure from Tejil Rao and the likes of Sandeep Kumar, very, very dominant. The moment he got that lead, looked like he was never going to relinquish that. Hugs and pat on the back for Amir Saeed, and every hug and every pat on the back is very, very well deserved. Now we'll go towards the presentation area where we have Raman Banot chatting with the race winners.
Right, so this was a race that was actually dominated by the safety car and everyone following. But just a quick chat. Sandeep, a little disappointed with 4 or 5 Dark Dawns in the top 6, and yet you don't end up at the top on the podium.
Yeah, it's not a good way, like you said, but I think the pace is really strong.
and once you make the move, then it's difficult to make it back. You lose the place, and then it's difficult to make it back. I think Amir made the move into Arya going into C2. It's a tough fight for the move, and then it's unlucky for Arya, he fell back, and then it was difficult. That's what, like when Amir passed me, it was difficult to get him back, and I mean, so is the case with when Tijal passed me. So I thought Tijal might have a shot. I let him through, and I think he did have a moment with Amir, but yeah, so that's how it is. The racing is close. You're never better than your previous race, so yeah, head down for the next one.
Well, they always say that good things come in small packages. You'll have to say that for Tijal Rao. What a fantastic run, Tijal. Second place finish for you.
First podium, first of all, in this category. It's been hard. I think, we had the chance to challenge for first place, but my man's really good, I guess. He drove a really good race. But yeah, we'll definitely try to get him next time. Yeah.
Well, enjoy the moment for now. Well, Amir, you just seem to be making a habit out of winning first and foremost. Congratulations on your first win in this race category, the Formula LGB4. But as I said, you made a habit out of winning, something that you started back in the Novice Cup this season. Up a category, but back to your winning ways.
Yeah, I'm so glad. It's such a good feeling to win. So yeah, it really means a lot to me. So.
Just talk me through exactly what transpired, because you were probably P4 when the race began on P4, surrounded by these 5 Dark Dawn racing drivers, but you were the one who made the move early on.
Yeah, at the start we got 2 cars right into turn 1, and yeah, there was a pretty good start, and then there was a safety car, so then I had to follow Arya throughout the safety car, and then when we pipped him at the restart and got him into turn 3, and yeah, it was a fight. The Dark Dawns gave me a really good battle, and yeah, it was I couldn't be happier. So
well. The mood in the camp is going to be super, because I'm sure earlier there was this talk that we're not just here to compete, we're here to win races, and I think today's performance underlining that for Aura Racing.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely want to win, and I'm so glad that the team and us have come together for that goal, and I can see everyone working so hard, and it really means a lot. So we'll hopefully get some better results also tomorrow.
Let's savor the moment. Congratulations, Amir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
That brings us to the end as far as race proceedings are concerned for day 1 of round 2. But remember, there'll be so much more racing action to come on day 2. So do join us tomorrow. There's a whole lot more coming your way. For now, this is Raman Manoj signing off.
Thank you, Raman, for that presentation. Unfortunately, that's the end of the proceedings for the day. That's day 1. But we will be back with the live coverage of the second round of the 24th JK TYRE-FMSCI National Racing Championship from 11:20 a.m. on Sunday morning. That's tomorrow. Do join us. Till then, goodbye.
Sir,